Welcome. Hello, greetings. It's
Hello.
great to have you here today. I wish we could all just be in person though. Wouldn't that be fun? The nice thing is that we'll be able to hit record, and we want to make sure that you know that you can come back to this presentation. You can come back to everything that we're talking to about to sharing with you today asynchronously. So that will be definitely the benefit. So, and people are still coming in, and we'll get you situated. Amber, did you already introduce yourself, or would you like?
No, I haven't done any introductions. I wanted to wait for you. So
Okay.
thanks again everyone for your patience.
Sorry. So my name is Kelly Arispe. I'm in the Department of World Languages here at Boise State University. I know a lot of you, and some of you I don't know, which really makes me excited that you're here. So welcome. I teach Spanish linguistics, and I also teach the methodology and literacy courses situated with our secondary education programs for pre-service teachers of French, German, and Spanish. And I'm also the director of the Computer Assisted Language Learning Certificate, the graduate certificate that now is in its second official year, third summer. And so it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'll let Amber introduce herself.
My name is Amber Hoy, and I'm the director of the World Languages Resource Center. So I'm at Boise State, and I'm really lucky that I get to work with all 12 languages that we teach at Boise State. I work primarily with our lower division courses with conversation labs. And so many of the activities you'll see today were actually developed initially for that purpose, for giving students an opportunity to practice interpersonal speaking outside of the classroom. And I teach a class every semester for our French, German, and Spanish majors to help them get ready for life after graduation. And so we're really excited to have everyone here. And like Kelly said, we see some new faces. So we'd love to do a quick poll just to get to know you a little bit before we jump into the presentation material.
Indeed. All right. So I'm going to pull everywhere here. Can y'all see that? You can play along with us. We'd love to know where you come from or where you're at right now. You can see that these are the regions. So the way you can join this is you can go to pollev.com and then type in my first and last name 141, and it'll bring up the poll for you. You can go ahead and click on the region so we know where you're coming from today. Yeah, and Amber's put it in the chat too, which is a lot easier. Thank you. This. Love this. Okay, somebody's in the middle of the ocean right now, but hopefully that might have been my error on the way that I set up the map. Okay, there we go. On a boat, maybe going somewhere really fancy, down to South America, who knows? Okay. Well, great. It's great to see that you all are coming from different places. As you'll know, this repository is open, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit. We have another question for you, though, so I'm going to move that right along. We'd love to know the language you teach. So stay in Full Everywhere. That same link will prompt you to tell us about the language you teach. Mm-hmm. This is just giving us a little bit of a feel for who's here today beyond just region. Great. All right, fantastic. And then go ahead and tell us the level that you teach. Great. All right. Thank you all. This is great. We fully anticipated that this would play out the way it did. And as you'll see, the repository does have advanced language activities. but we center primarily on novice and intermediate. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Actually, before I do, I want to bring your attention to one important thing. So the benefit of being here live, right, is that you get first dibs on all the questions and curiosities that you might have. So I'm going to be managing in the next 25 minutes. 20 minutes. Amber's going to give a presentation about the repository. And we're going to ask that as you have a question or curiosity or even a need, that you please put that in the chat. I'm going to be managing the chat, and my goal is to try and triage which questions we can address today for the good of the order, and that what questions or needs or concerns you have that we can address later. We're hoping that your questions and your input will help provide an FAQ that will actually sit on our website, but we will also do due diligence and make sure to share that with you via email as well. Okay. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and punt the ball to Amber here.
All right, can everyone see my screen okay? Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat box for you a link to a getting started guide. This is going to be the document or what you see on the left side of my screen. And this is a self-paced resource for you. So at any point in time, you can come back and get some quick instructions, some tutorial information. But I thought it would be nice for me to have a guide for you on the left, and then I'm going to do a live demo with you on the right of how to use our repository. So here's a link for everybody. And this is, like Kelly said, going to be just a quick 20-minute session where we're going to really make sure that you feel comfortable going into our repository. We have almost 700, we're 6 shy of 700 activities available for you. And like Kelly mentioned, many of them are across the novice and the intermediate proficiency level. We do have some advanced as well. And I want to make sure that you feel comfortable jumping in and accessing the materials, downloading them, and if you'd like to even making changes to them. So what is the Pathways Project? Just real quick, we are an initiative from Boise State University, and we're working with Idaho's K through 16 language teachers and students, both at Boise State and across the state, to create a network of free open educational resources, specifically a repository of activities and different materials that you can use in your language classroom. And we really have focused our resources on interpersonal speaking activities. As we all know, that is probably the most difficult thing for our students to master. They need another person, right, to practice. And it can be some of the most difficult things for us as instructors to write, to make fun, interactive activities to do in the classroom. We find that our students need 720 hours of instruction, but they often fall short with only 320. And so what we're really trying to do is to put all the great resources that we've created, that you've created, in one place for teachers to be able to access and download easily and to be able to make changes. And because Idaho is a rural state, we know many of you may be the only instructor at your institution. You may be the only Spanish instructor, the only French instructor, for example. And so we also hope that we can start to form some connections across the state and nationwide and really help each other out with a great collection of materials. So what we're going to do today is look at 4 different steps. We're going to look at how to find an activity for your classroom, take a little brief peek at how the activities are formatted. I'm going to show you how to download the activity, and last but not least, even make changes to it if you'd like. So know that these activities can be used as is, but there's a lot of freedom and flexibility. Whether you want to adapt something for your Spanish students in Texas, for example, or maybe you see a really cool activity that was done for German that you'd like to do with your Japanese students. There's tons of flexibility in being able to make changes. So the first step to finding an activity is to visit our website. So over on the left-hand side, I have linked the Pathways Project website, and you'll see here at the top, we have an option to go to language activities and materials. When I scroll down, you'll see that I have an option to see several different languages, and we even have an option for foundational activities. These are designed in English, and you can go in and you can customize them for any target language. So what I want to show you today is how to find an activity. and find it based on a specific proficiency level. So many of you, most of you said that you were a novice level. So what I'm going to do for today is I'm going to click on Spanish, and then I'll show you how to find a novice level activity. I did want to briefly point out on all of the pages for each language, we do have some really great featured activities. So if you're not sure where to start, or if you just are curious and want to explore, you may want to check out some of the activities that we have at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to scroll down here, and you'll notice that we have different sections to make it easy for you to find an activity, not only for your language, but for the proficiency level of your students. So novice, intermediate, advanced, for example. But we also have a separate section for activities that were designed specifically for online instruction. Hopefully we'll be out of the pandemic soon, but for this semester, and maybe even possibly into fall, this could be really great for you. They're also really great for hybrid and online courses as well. And for Spanish, we do have a few activities for Spanish for the professions. I'm going to look at the novice level. Okay. And when I click on novice, what this is actually going to do is it's going to take you to a separate website. It's powered by OER Commons. And what it is it's a large database or repository that is really easy to navigate, and you can search for things that will fit the content of your classroom. So if you are coming back to this video at a later date, there is a short little video tutorial that I have here for you, but I'm going to do a live demo because that's more fun. So if I scroll down here, you'll see that I'm in the Spanish interpersonal speaking folder, and I'm in novice. So I've drilled down specifically to the level and language that I'm looking for. Now what I can do is try to think of some keywords or semantic topics that might have to do with what I'm teaching. So let's say that I'm doing an activity for Spanish, and we're going to be talking about days of the week, school schedules, daily routines, things like that. So I'm going to just type in days of the week and see what comes up. Okay, so it looks like I have 3 different activities that I could choose from. It'll give you the level, and then it'll also give you the title. So we have Días de la Semana y las Materias. And you'll notice that these are coded most of the time in English and in Spanish. So it does work for me if I wanted to type in semana, which is week in Spanish. I can search in English and in Spanish. So you can search in both languages, but try to think of some different keywords that might represent what you're doing. If you're doing family trees, it could be family, family tree, la familia in Spanish, right? So you can search for different things to have them come up. And then if I click on the activity, it will bring it up, and I can click on view resource to view the full activity. So I'll let you explore the different pieces of the activity on your own time, but I did want to mention that these activities are what we consider to be classroom ready, meaning that they have all the pieces that you need to do the activity with your students. So if I were to scroll through this briefly with you, you'll see there's a little tutorial at the top of every activity to help you. A short description, and what I like about the description is you can read this without having to go through the whole activity. You can get a gist of it in 2 to 3 sentences. We've included the World Readiness Standards and Idaho State World Language Standards in here for you. And then the can-do statements, if you aren't familiar with these, they're awesome. They're really student-friendly learning objectives that are going to help students understand kind of the method behind our madness, the task at hand, the goal of the activity. What I also really like too is we have all the materials that you need to do the activity. So you don't have to go out and find images or create your own cards. I can click on here and I can click on download, for example, and I can get a copy of the materials right away that I can print out and use with my students. And if you're looking at that and you go, well, you know, maybe my students aren't learning these specific vocabulary words, or I want to tweak something. Most of our novice level activities have a template included. And there's a really cool website called Canva that you can click on. And so I can click on these headband cards. And what's nice is I can actually click on and log in and make changes to these. So in my video, I show you how to change it from, I think I changed the chemistry to art. Well, we pretend that we're not covering chemistry, and the word for chemistry in Spanish class, but it's really nice because you have the ability to customize the vocabulary and customize the content to fit the needs of your students.
But Amber, I know somebody on this call is thinking, But if I customize it, when I change the master, when I mess up the repository for others?
And that's really the beautiful thing about this is that the first few years, we only really had static PDFs for our repository. You weren't able to change things because we were so concerned about somebody accidentally going in and doing, like I said, maybe you find a German activity and you want to change it to Spanish, and then all of a sudden the activity's permanently in Spanish. We have these templates that you can use as many times as you'd like, and they will not affect the formal or polished published version of the activity. Good question, Kelly. Okay, let me go back here. All right, and then you'll see that all of our activities are formatted with three basic kind of principles. So we have a warm up, a main activity, and a cool down. And again, you can read a little bit more about why we chose to do this. But the warm up is really nice. It helps students just get comfortable, get into the target language, and feel prepared for the activity. The main activity should give them a little bit of a workout, should challenge them. And then the cool down ends on a happy note and boosts their confidence. So almost all of our activities follow this sort of this pyramid or mountain-like structure that really helps make the most out of the 30 minutes that these activities are designed to be.
We've really tried to provide a system here so that every activity, even though the vocabulary items are going to shift, you know what to expect. You know where to. So once you start using them, by the third time, you're going to know where to find those can-do statements. You're going to know how to that a warm up, a main activity, cool down is coming. We really want you to get familiar so that the burden isn't trying to figure out how to do the thing. It's all there for you. It's a matter of making sure that the proficiency level and the vocabulary topic is aligned to what you need.
All right. And so once you find an activity you might want to use with your students, you can certainly just use the web version like I am right now. However, I do find it really nice to be able to download a PDF copy that I could print or I could load onto my iPad, for example, before class. If you come up to the top of the screen, you'll notice that there is a download button. And I do want to note that you do need to be signed into OER Commons for this download button to pop up. OER Commons is completely free, but if you're not seeing the download button, it's because you're not signed in. So you can come up here and click on download and then choose PDF. Let's see if this will pop up for everybody. Can you all see the PDF that just popped up? Awesome. So this will give you everything. This will give you the short summary, the learning goals like we talked about, the full activity guide. But what also is really nice is that it even has links to the materials and the templates, and they work right from the PDF. So you can download your favorite activities, keep them on a folder in your computer, and very easily use them with your students. So the PDF option is great. If you're like me and sometimes you like to activity shop, maybe you want to look at a few activities first, I do want to point out too, there's this save option here, and you can create your own folder and you can save some of the activities that you might want to use, or maybe you want to share with colleagues. And then on this slide, I also have instructions for you on how to print out the cards. So a lot of our activities have printable cards that you can use. And I know one concern sometimes with schools is, hey, I only have a certain amount of paper, or I need to try to use it, save as much paper as I can. And these are instructions for you on how to print out the cards on multiple cards on one sheet of paper to save ink and save paper. In this short tutorial, all right. And then last but not least, what I want to show you is just how you can make changes to the activities. So there's basically three types of activities that you might want to do, or three types of changes to activities that you might want to do. So the first one might be to change the Google slideshow. So one other nice component of all of our activities is there's a Google slideshow that helps you to facilitate the activity with your students. This guide is for you. This isn't something you'd want to print out and hand to your students, but the Google slideshow is student facing. So I can click on this one to show you an example. And what's really nice is I can come here and go to File and make a copy of selected slides or the entire presentation. And then I can change anything on the slides that I would like. So these are really easy for you to customize. If you have announcements, if you want to change something, add an activity, they're all set up for you to be able to share them with your students. And then sometimes though, you might want to make a change to the printable material. So like I said, we have templates on most of our novice level activities. So right here, I have access to the question cards and the headband cards for this activity. And we are working diligently to add templates to all of the activities by the end of the year. So if you come across an activity and you only see the PDF, if you send us an email, and I have our email linked right here for you, you can, within 2 business days, we will send you a copy that is editable, and then that will make it easy for us because we'll just go in and we'll drop that into the activity and the template will be on there. But again, by the end of the year, every activity will have for any printable materials, will have a template available for you. And then last but not least, at the very top of the screen, I just want to highlight that there's this remix button. I have a tutorial for you that you can watch. But what's really beautiful is that you can come in here, hit the remix, this resource button. It will populate everything. And if you want to change the wording to how you might say something to your students in Spanish, for example, you can change that. If you're like, this is an awesome activity and I want to make it more difficult or less difficult, kind of a Goldilocks scenario, right? You can change that as well. And then you can even remix it for different languages. So you'll see like those foundational activities that I mentioned. Some of you teach Italian or you teach a language that we don't have at Boise State, but I still really feel like we have a lot of resources that could be available or useful to you because we have those foundational templates, or you can steal from some of the Romance languages, for example, right? So there's really great tutorials in this presentation for you.
When you open a Google
And last but not least, I just wanted to let you know too that this is a community. And so these activities are developed by upper division students at Boise State. Many of them are native or heritage speakers. We have advanced students working on it, and we make every effort we can to polish them. But we're human and the students are still learning, right? So if you encounter anything in terms of grammar, syntax, make something like sound more natural, maybe there's a cool cultural component that we could add to the activity. Again, this is our email address and we love getting email. So please send us an email and we will be happy to make those changes if you encounter anything that you'd like to see changed. And with that, I think we can open it up for questions, Kelly.
Yeah, and let's leave your screen being shared. That way we can ask anything. But I want to first and foremost answer the easiest question. Yes, this presentation is being recorded. And yes, we encourage you to share it. We're really hopeful that this is the beginning, not the beginning. I mean, we have, as you know, we have a Pathways post. So we have a newsletter that goes out every couple of months. And then we're doing these webinar series as a way to be able to ensure that teachers know that this exists and that it is open, that it's open and accessible. And this leads to the second question, which has to do with leaving feedback as comments or suggestions, or how might a teacher modify it for different groups based off of their experience. Let me tell you that this is at the heart of our #1 objective. We have, as you know, almost 700 activities, and that's going to continue to grow. The system that we have in place right now continues to grow right? It keeps in breadth is the word that I'm looking. You can tell it's Friday afternoon. It keeps growing in breadth. And the goal that we really want is we want to be able to have your voice in there. You are the ones in the classroom. You're on the ground interacting with students. You're going to have the best way of knowing how this activity fits for middle school or high school, or for German teachers always tell me, Kelly, we always have like all the young men in our class. Okay, well, tell us how this activity sits well then with 15-year-old boys. We would love to know how to create, adapt, evaluate, and you do that. You lead with that. We would absolutely invite you to share that back so that the repository grows in depth and that it can be catered and specific to people like you who are teaching 15-year-old adolescents. So, oh no, I'm cutting out. No? Okay, I'm not cutting out. Okay, I'm good. All right, I can, okay. So that's what I would encourage you to do, is to consider partnering with us in that and giving back. If these activities have been instrumental for you or have been helpful, and there are even just the slightest tweak could be really important for improving the efficacy of that activity in someone else's classroom. So that is absolutely the invitation. There are 5 R's in the OER model, and reuse is really important to us. That's the place where we're at right now, is how do we get teachers to not just take, but also to adapt and then share back, because that's really the spirit of all of this, is we want this to be a community, and we really recognize your expertise in this. It should not just be a top down or a Boise State thing. This can be a world language thing, and so we invite you to do that. Okay, so do we have a standard testing for novice, mid, or high? I think that question is referring to the sublevels. If I'm, do we have a standard testing for novice for all languages? So I can tell you what I can tell you about the novice, and then the sublevels. And so that's a great question. Amber, actually, can you pull up the activity? It's small on my screen, but so yeah, so you can see that the activities are specific to the sub level. So novice mid, we start with novice mid because novice low is a 0. So you can find a novice mid activity that's perfect for first year. So it really does help you to drill down. We've tried to make it easy for your accessibility on the website, though, to just first start with novice, intermediate, and advanced. Usually people know, okay, I'm teaching novice level or beginner level learners, and then from there they can find the right activity.
It does work. Just to show you, you can type in the search bar here. So I'm drilled down in novice, and I can type in novice mid and drill down specifically to that sub level if I want to. It's pretty powerful to search on here.
Well, great. Well, we know we're really respectful of your time. We know that it's been a long week. And so it's Friday afternoon. We wish we could toast with you, a happy hour, do something, to celebrate you. And but we're really appreciative of your time today and being here. Some of you are going to stay on the call. So feel free to just stay in this room. You've been invited to a different project. So we're gonna merge to that project now. But if anyone has any other questions, feel free to either email us at this, this would be the best way to email us rather than personally. So, okay, well, thank you. Thanks, everyone. It was so great to see you.